And now it's time for that First Lady, Miss Clara Luper.
Phyllis Perry of Anadarko, Oklahoma. And a special thanks to the fine people in Anadarko that gave to Jamie Lurks, C.P. Wilson, and I such a warm welcome last night. We would like to especially salute the Burris Singers from Lawton, Oklahoma, and the man on that piano, Mr. George Davis of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. It was really homecoming for Jamie Lurks, who had graduated from Anadarko High School. The affair, the Black History Special, was held in the community center, and as Jamie Lurks walked into the center, she was reminded all of us that she once played basketball in that gymnasium, which is now a community center. I would like to thank Mrs. Watson, Mrs. Poindexter, and all of you for that fine, delicious dinner in Anadarko, Oklahoma. Where in the world can you find a potato pie that has everything in it? A potato pie that will make you appreciate sweet potatoes, call them yams, but it was something last night. And I thought about all of you, and I wish you could have been with me. I wish you could have shared in a delicious dinner with me last night. But since you were not there, I want you to know that that program was something else, and certainly thank you for giving me that opportunity. Oklahoma State University presents In Pursuit of Excellence, Re-Educating the African American Mind in the Jimmy Stewart Building on Northeast 4th Street on March the 3rd, 1991 at 3 p.m., and it's free. The program consists of a welcome from Diana West, Miss Black OSU, invocation Troy Call Knowles, president of the Afro-American Student Association, Gloria Allen, University Representative, High School and College Relations. They are talking about admissions, scholarships, financial aid, housing, clubs, and organizations. And then there will be a mini session with Greek life, the real story. There will be another session that will discuss male-female relationships on college campuses. David Ballard, the president of the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, will introduce Joy Jones, a student recruiter. And after Joy finishes, Al Jones, the president of the A. Philip Randolph Institute, will give some remarks that will be very informative. Let's close it out with Gloria Allen. It is interesting that the Oklahoma State University and the Office of High School and College Relations have prepared a special program for Afro-American students in the Oklahoma City area. Now, it's very important that you attend this. This seminar, this program, will provide you with information to African-American students concerning scholarships, financial aid, housing, admissions, requirements, and various other programs and services. Now, you are to attend. This is a first program solely under the control of African American students on our campus, so you will have to show that you appreciate this kind of program. Now, if you need any information, call 1-800-852-1255. Let me repeat that, 1-800-852-1255. Tonight, Oklahoma University will present that one young lady that will represent Oklahoma University at the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant on June the 15th in Oklahoma City, and I would like to congratulate all of the young ladies. I had the opportunity to attend a program sponsored by the Academy at St. John's Baptist Church on Wednesday, February the 27th. And I want all of you people, those of you that are saying that black children aren't disciplined, they don't cooperate in school, I want you to go out there. Now, I saw those young people stand with dignity and pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the American flag. I heard a prayer by Lamar Harris. And then I listened as those young people took over with a song, Our Creed to Success. Not to failure, to success. And then a welcome was given by 5 young people. Reverend W.K. Jackson gave the history of black people from 1930 to 1940, and I had the opportunity to do the 50s and 60s, and Dr. Jameson had the opportunity to do black history in the 90s. Oh, it was great to see those young people walk up and receive excellent awards and good citizenship awards. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to tell you this, because I don't want to embarrass your knowledge of the black anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. I notice on some programs I go to, you have to read and you have to take the words, and they have to give you the words. But at St. John's Baptist Church, I saw over 100 children. And these aren't 5th, 6th, and 7th grade children. These are kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders. I saw them singing by memory every verse of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And certainly the leadership of that academy cannot be overlooked. And congratulations to Dr. English, Dr. Jackson, and others. Are you buying a home? Well, I can tell you what you can do. You can own a home. Let nobody fool you. Because Carbon Real Estate, Core Carbon, has some bargains that you cannot overlook. Last week I told you about the house at 2508 Northwest 115th Street. I told you how beautiful that house was, with 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and 2 living areas, a redwood fireplace, and 2-car garage with auto lifters, a large lot in beautiful Camelot addition, all for less than $70,000. Now, when you pay rent, all you have is receipt. But when you start buying you a home, you're talking about leaving something that's important and owning something. There's nothing else like owning your own home. There's a low equity house at 733 Northeast 35th Street. I told you about that last week, but since last week there are some other bargains, and I want you to call Mr. Carbon 424-2653. I would like to repeat, call Carl Carbon 424-2653, and he will put you in that house that you love so well. Well, speaking of programs, I had the opportunity to appear on program with little young Lasky, with Anthony from KOCO, Anthony Foster, and we all were presented beautiful plaques. From Israel Chapel CME Church, the Young Adults Auxiliary, with sincere gratitude and appreciation presented to Clara Luper for participation on our Black Heritage Program, Death of a Race, Sunday, February the 24th, 1991, Reverend R.C. Lasky, Pastor Tanya Munston, President. I would like to thank all of you at Israel Chapel. The music was beautiful. It was nothing like what happened at Israel Chapel CME Church. And thank you so much, and a special thanks to Mr. Rivers, who was also honored because of the fine work that he had done. You ask me, why do I talk about myself, my friends, and my family? Let me answer that, because this is the Clara Luper radio show. And I do hope that you don't expect me not to talk about Clara Luper on the Clara Luper radio show. If so, you are just like a bird without wings. You are really missing the boat. So therefore, if I want to tell you that I had the opportunity to go to Mike McGuire. Oh, it was something. That was a program that was sponsored by the people at the McGuire Salvation Army Senior Center. There were people that were dressed in uniforms. And when I say dressed, they were dressed. It reminded me of the good old days. And were they good old days? But I'll say old days, because these people represented the best. They were all well dressed. Some of them had on their bonnets and long dresses. It was something that was unbelievable. The program was a program, believe me. The choir sing the songs that I love so well. Mrs. Harris got on that piano and made it talk musically. Mr. David Carr, the saxophonist, played numbers, and finally he got down to When the Saints Go Marching In, and when he started marching through that audience, people stood and clapped. He was out of sight. The poems, the music by the Towers Choir were all wonderful. But I love that introduction that Geraldine Downey did for Clara Luper. She did an introduction that was really great. And not only that, she presented me this plaque. Now let me tell you what she did. She said that she took Clara Luper and gave meaning to each letter in the alphabet. I want to read it. And if you don't like it, turn your radios off, because I'm going to tell you what Geraldine Downey and the people at McGuire said about Clara Luper. C, Clara, a courageous, brave woman. L, leading her people to freedom and justice. A, America is filled with lives of great men and women who by their sacrificial lives have changed the course of history. R, rendering service for my born and unborn generation. A devoted civil rights NAACP leader. L, letting God direct her for a worthwhile cause, love for her people. U, use me, Lord, in thy service. I am willing to go all the way. P, praise the Lord. He brought me over hills and mountains. He stood right by my side. E, each step I take, my Savior goes before me. R, ready to suffer grief or pain, ready to stand the test, ready to do my best. And that was from friends at McGuire. Geraldine Downing, director, the McGuire Salvation Army Senior Center. How do you say thanks for an honor like that? How do you say thanks? I don't know how to say it, but I'll do the best that I can. Thank you, Geraldine, and the fine people at McGuire Plaza. Today's program is being made possible by your favorite Allstate Insurance agent, Marilyn Luper. I would like to thank you for taking time out to call Marilyn. The telephone number is 755-7252. Now, if you don't call Marilyn, you are missing a wonderful opportunity. Have you ever heard of people praying that black people would succeed, and then when blacks get in a position where they can succeed, they go somewhere else? That is really unproductive. I had a friend of mine, I asked a friend of mine, I said, why didn't you let Marilyn bid on your insurance? Well, I got a good old white agent. I said, yes, when did he come to your church? How much collection did he put in that collection plate? People ought to think. We go around and beg black people for ads, and when you get down to business, we've gone somewhere else. Today's program is an exciting program because I'm talking about the All-American Carpet Cleaning Service. And all you will have to do, you can get your carpet clean at a price you can afford. 2 rooms, $29.95. 3 rooms, $39.95. 4 rooms, $49.95. And you can get all 5 rooms clean for $64.95. All you will have to do is to dial 848-1459. Now, the cleaning service that I'm talking about is powered by a truck, and they don't even have to come into your house with a lot of equipment. They have a hose and a cleaning wand, all that enters your home. Our professional work is guaranteed. I wonder where is Reverend Gory James. Reverend Gory James did all that talk, and I believe I beat him last week. I believe the people in Precinct 29 told he and Lady Ruth Hunter up. Well, we will see. It's time now to talk about how good you're going to look. You're going to look good because you're going to surcharge the tailor. It's a difference between custom-tailored clothes and off-the-rack clothing. Now, if you want a tailor-made suit, and you deserve one, or maybe 2, I want you to go to Sir Charles the Tailor, 6225 Southeast 15th Street, Midwest City, Oklahoma. The telephone number is 733-7600. That's Sir Charles the tailor. You called me and you asked me what did I think about the war and the peace, and wasn't I rejoicing? Well, let me tell you, as a history student, there are some wars that I can understand. For example, the Revolutionary War that was fought for taxation without representation. I understand the Tripoli War when pirates were taking our goods. I can truly understand the War of 1812 that was fought because of impressment. I can understand the Mexican War because we fought that because of a boundary dispute. I can understand the Spanish-American War. Remember the Maine and the sinking of American ships. I can understand World War I, where we went to war to make the world safe for democracy. I can understand World War II, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, making the world again safe for democracy. I can understand the Korean and the Vietnamese War, where our presidents told us that we were stopping communism. But you will have to explain to me the war in the Persian Gulf. You will have to do that. Did we win the war, yes or no? Was it worth the American lives and the American psychological hurts that was coming all over America? But then why did we go to war, and is the war really over? Well, let me say what the President of the United States, the Honorable George Bush, that didn't have to go over there and sleep in the sand, the Honorable Bush that didn't have to sleep with scorpions and snakes. Let's see what did Bush say. The President of the United States, a very popular president, said that we went in to get Iraq out of Saudi Arabia. And then a question, why didn't we go in to Afghanistan and get the Russians out? I don't know, but I do know that the President of the United States said we were going into Iraq we were going into Saudi Arabia to get the Iraqs out. And the President of the United States spoke for Black History Month. And in that speech, he talked about how great the blacks were and how they had fought. Evidently, the President of the United States did not realize that Andrew Jackson gave the same speech. Andrew Jackson praised the blacks for their battle of New Orleans that really saved America. The President of the United States talked about courage. Did he not know that 5,000 blacks fought in the Revolutionary War? Did he not know that Crispus Attucks became the first the first American to die for the independence of this country? Did he realize how the blacks begged to fight in the Civil War? The Civil War that was fought to save the Union. Did he realize how Abraham Lincoln first turned the blacks down, and then when he began to lose the war, realized that he needed all of his people? But since that war in the Gulf is over, we are going to see who the real winners are. Will they be the young men that will come back with psychological defects? Will they be those that are ill? And we can see now who the big winners are. Well, let me predict who the big winners are. Now, this is what I think, and I don't want you calling President Bush, telling him what Clara Luper said, because I'm telling the president myself. Well, we will see, because if you notice, Saudi Arabia is a torn-up country now. Who owns the machines that are going into Saudi Arabia and rebuild it? Who owns the steel, the lumber, the plastic? Who will be the real winners? They will be the large companies that are now bidding to go into Saudi Arabia, a very rich country, and rebuild it. How many dollars will those black soldiers that went to, and sailors and Marines and all that went, how many of those high-paying jobs will they be able to get? Who will be the real winners? I would like to say to America, if we can go into Saudi Arabia to get the Iraqs out and spend billions and billions of dollars to do it, can we not get the poor, the homeless out of the streets of America? And maybe President Bush got up this morning and looked in front of the White House where people still on the streets, laying and sleeping. Can we get the homeless into homes? Think about those dollars. Think about the money that went into the military. Can we also spend that kind of money for education and get the ignorance out of America? Wouldn't it be something if the President of the United States would stand up and say, I want to get the ignorance out of America and send in the best specialists to do so. And since only a few, according to their definition, Americans were killed. But then I hope President Bush looks at the statistics, because we have more people that are dying as a result of drug abuse than you can even imagine. Maybe the president will not get the drug pushers out of America. Wouldn't it be exciting to know that our president is working to get the drug pushers with the same skills, with the same technology out of America to save our young people? If we can get the Iraqs out of Saudi Arabia, then certainly we can get the drug pushers out of America. Clara Luper thinking. It's so bizarre time in America, and so bizarre time meaning that we are celebrating the 200th birthday of the Bill of Rights, and we want to focus attention to the fact that we are number one because of the Bill of Rights. Therefore, we are proud to announce the Soul Bazaar's Bill of Rights poster, poetry, essay, and dramatic skit contest. It is designed to encourage students to study, create, and gain knowledge about the Bill of Rights. It's open to students from the 1st through the 12th grade. Each grade will be judged separately. All you have to do to enter the contest is call me at 424-3949 or write Soul Bazaar's Contest, Post Office Box 11106. Now, don't write over 150 words on your essay, and the subject is, we are number one because of the Bill of Rights. There will be prizes that are given. We'll be telling you more about that next week. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today's show is being made possible by Langston's Food Mart, Langston, Oklahoma, located east on Highway 33. Barbecue, hickory smoke, full line of groceries and full line of meat, open every day on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 12, on Fridays and Saturdays, 8 to 2, and on Sundays, 8 to 10 p.m. What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do. I want you to take time and look at the young people in America, young people that are drowning in crime. Can you lift a hand and save one? Leon C. Hicks would like to invite you to come out to Smickler's Chevrolet Buick GO. Nobody sells for less. Over 500 Chevys, Buicks, and GOs. Call 943-5721, located at Northwest of 52nd and North May Avenue. March is here. And since this is March, I would like for you to march somewhere for me. I would like for you to march to the library and gain some knowledge. I want you to march for justice toward everybody. I want you to march on the streets and say to young people, don't you touch any old people. Don't you try to hurt our old people, because if it were not for them, you wouldn't even be here. And those of you that want to look good, you want that right haircut, I want you to march to Gates Barbershop, where he is in the business of making people beautiful. And don't say you don't want to be beautiful, because if you didn't want to be beautiful, you wouldn't look in the mirror, because nobody would look in the mirror as something that's ugly. So in order that you can really be beautiful, I want you to go by Gates Barbershop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King Boulevard, and get your hair cut. One thing about it, he will cut the old-fashioned way. You remember when we used to put a sauce on top of your head and trim around? He can do that kind. But then he can do designer's haircuts. He is really great. I went by the barbershop the other day, and I saw a group of young men from that great Stillwater, Oklahoma, and they were there getting their haircuts. Not only that, they made a contribution to Freedom Center, and certainly I would like to thank Mr. Ickes and others for making their contribution. They are down in Stillwater looking. They really thought I was going to call their names, but I'm not going to call your name until I get all that cash that you promised. Those of you out in radio land, we have told you that we are building a monument to blacks and whites that have fought and died for freedom. Many of you have looked at us and you've grinned and you have said, I don't believe it's going to be done. But there are a lot of things that you don't believe. But the facts are that we are going to do it because we have to do it. And we need your contribution. If you want to be a part of it, send your donations to Freedom Center, Post Office Box 11106, or come by and see for yourself. Don't be like some parasites who come up, sit and look, and then go back and say, Miss Luper, I'm praying for you. I said, but what did you ask God to do? I asked God to help you all build Freedom Center. I said, okay, but give us a dime. I'm sorry, Miss Luper, I can't do it. Clara Luper reporting, KTLV in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Sometimes we come to a dark streak in American history. Sometimes. And sometimes in this busy business of living, we don't have time to say thank you for a job well done. And today I want to take my stand, which will be a public stand. I want to take my stand and thank Governor David Walters for appointing one of the greatest leaders that I know. And I've been out here on the battlefield for a long time now. And I was so happy when I found that Governor Walters had appointed my friend as the chairman of the Employment Commission. I would like to thank you, David Walters. You have done a great job. And today we are going to look into the inner life of Reverend W.B. Parker. I have invited Reverend Kirk here today, and how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Reverend Kirk, I understand that Reverend Parker is your pastor. Is that true?
That is true.
Tell me about your pastor. First, now, tell me, you're a young man, right?
Yes, ma'am.
A young man.
Yes,
Where
ma'am.
do you work?
I work for a basis company, a computer firm in downtown Oklahoma City.
A computer firm?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, that means that you are educated in computerology. Is that correct?
Well, some think so, yes.
Some think so. Do you think so?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're good
Yes,
on that
ma'am.
computer.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
you're well educated, and you are a member of what?
The St. James Baptist Church.
Why did you become a member of the St. James Baptist Church?
Well, first of all, it's through the direction of Reverend Parker. I've been out there for some 14 years now. And the sincerity of this man and the dedication that he has toward black people and all the activity that he's involved in for the advancement of blacks and his concern for the black population as a whole, not only for our church but in the community. And that touched me. I saw his sincerity, and I wanted to be a part of that church based on that.
Okay, you know Reverend Parker.
Yes, I do. Know him very well.
Okay, and you say he's a very sincere, dedicated individual.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, at St. James, describe for me some of the programs that you have there.
So the program, well, we've got, he built the gymnasium, which we have open up to the community. The gymnasium is built right across the street from the church there, and the community it's open to the community as well as our church.
Have you seen him playing basketball out there in the gym?
Well, I tell you what, when you say that, I have seen him do push-ups and the sit-ups.
No, I'm talking about basketball. Have you seen him play
He's been
basketball?
over there at the gym, yes,
You haven't seen him playing basketball. Then he built that gym, and he led the movement to build that gym for what group of people?
For a young group of people, for the young in the community, for all within that community.
Okay, we are talking about Reverend W.B. Parker, the pastor of the St. James Baptist Church in Spencer, Oklahoma. Now, Reverend Park has been very active. I remember during the sit-in movement, he marched. When there were few ministers marching. I remember one day he was marching in front of Johnny Brown's, and his knees were swollen. He was in pain, and I'd say, Reverend Parker, why don't you go home? And he'd say, Clara, I can't. I've got to keep marching. I know he's involved in a lot of activities that every preacher should, because nobody wants somebody to sit down all the week and then on Sunday come there telling them about how far I've come and all of that.
Right.
Okay, now I want you to tell me, what was your reaction when you read in a local paper some bad things about your pastor?
Well, first of all, the news came to me over the telephone. Someone called me and asked me had I read the paper. Well, to be honest with you, no, I haven't read the paper because this is not the first time sour news has come from this newspaper. And my reaction was, well, it's happened again. But what really kick this thing off is last Sunday, Reverend Parker was out of town based on in Washington, D.C. toward his appointment, and he was not there. But when his son came back to me and asked me, what are we going to do about this guy? And I knew then that this statement had hurt not only Reverend Parker, but it had also affected his family. And I began then to ask God, well, we need to do something. We need to respond. There needs to be something. And so we met in the back in the pastor's study back there, and we had prayer. And we asked for God's direction on this because we needed to do something. We thought, first of all, we'd respond with a letter to the newspaper. And some began to say, well, the guy probably will not print it at all based on he's in control here. But we need to do something, and that's why I guess we're here today. We want to make some kind of a statement to the public, get our voice heard, that Reverend Parker is a loving man, and we want people to know the real truth.
Well, I have an article here in my hand. It's really a letter that was written by a white lady.
That's right.
From Yukon, Oklahoma, and I would like to share it with my radio audience because my audience needs to know the truth.
That's it.
Dear publisher of the Black Chronicle, one-side angry article. Never should a person, whether your opinion of them be good or bad, be talked about or downgraded such as this man was in this one article. This reflected more on you, Mr. Perry, than him. In all the papers, magazines, and things that I have read, this is the all-time worst. This article was highly unprofessional and unethical. In the past, I was impressed with your publication because it appeared to be more fact than personal opinion. You have proven this to be incorrect. A very disappointed reader, Christy Sanders. Not only that, we have had telephone calls from all directions saying, did you know what the Black Chronicle said about Reverend Parker? And I say this, and I want to say it out loud. I want to say it so loud that the people down in Wewoka, Oklahoma can hear me. The greatest thing that Governor Walters has done so far was to appoint a man of integrity, of strength, a man that is a spiritual leader, one that will help everybody. That was great of Walters. But I would like to say to Mr. Perry, whatever you reap, you've got to sow.
That's right.
And the truth crushed to the earth will rise again. I think you have made Reverend Parker more popular than ever.
That's right.
Because there are hundreds of people out there that have eaten food because he has given food baskets.
That's right.
There, Mr. Perry. I do hope that next week, Mr. Perry, who has served on all kinds of committees for the governor, I would like for him, for past governors, I would like for him to explain to the people how he has helped people. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see an article, and I would like to see the records compared. And I would like to see those of you that are out in radio land, that are now in colleges and universities because of the generosity of Reverend Parker. I would like for you to stand up and be counted.
That's it.
You know, when you aren't used to people talking bad about you, you're doing your best in a community. You're working when you are too tired to work. You're working when you are sick, and then somebody come and try to stab your reputation in the back. It is disgusting. And I can say to the children of Reverend Parker and the members out in St. James, hold your head up, because you have a pastor that we are all proud of. And I'm just glad that Reverend Parker is in this community, and I tremble with fear what would happen if he were not here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Luper. You just don't know how that's helped us and how you've given us a chance to make this known, that we love him, and we want the people to know, those who he's touched. Also, we want to stand behind you, and if you're listening now, we want you to know that we love you, and no matter what this man has said, he's brought you out, like Ms. Luper said, to know that you are a great man, and we are behind you as a church and as a people, and may God bless you.
I would like certainly to talk to Reverend Parker today, and I wish he would call me out here, KTLV, The telephone number is 672-1220. And I want Reverend Parker to know that Mrs. Lady Ruth Hunter was awfully upset. Don't mess with Reverend Parker. And I could go on down the line and tell you what people have called and told me how upset that was. Don't let that upset you. Because today we are talking to over 600,000 people all over this state that are listening. And these people know what Reverend Parker has done. And I would like for you to thank Reverend Parker for what he has done for all of you. And I would like to remind everybody that this is a Clara Luper radio show, and I'm certainly not going to lead you wrong. Nor will you be wrong when you go down to Dr. A.L. Dow's, 934 Northeast 8th Street, and get your eyes tested where you can see. Now, where you can see, because when I looked at the paper, the headlines, Governor makes a bad choice, I wrote into that, Governor makes an outstanding choice with Reverend Parker. He reached his highest batting average when he selected Reverend Parker. When I went on to read where he said the governor did not know Reverend Parker, but one thing that the governor did know, how to select a man of character to serve as chairman of the Employment Security Commission. And when he said that that was not a significant part of government, I wanted to remind him that it was the significant part of government. And as he named an organization like the CCSR that has fed thousands of people, not only that, it's given them religious strength. And then when he talked about Tinkerfield, did he not know that since Reverend Parker and the CSS, the CCSR and the Concerned Citizens and the CCL and all have been working, there have been changes out to Tinkerfield. Right. And so many people from Tinkerfield that are now in important positions because of Reverend Parker's leadership called and said things. And I would also, when he talked about Remington Park, I wanted to remind him that I drove down Remington Park to see how many people stopped to even buy gasoline from blacks. Oh, we are proud of Reverend Parker, and we are just bursting with pride. And now I want to get Reverend Parker on the telephone. Wouldn't you like to hear from your minister?
No, sure would.
Okay, well, let's just do a little talking while I go and get the telephone and talk to Reverend Parker. I want to go and talk to him. Okay, well, you keep talking until I go and talk to Reverend Parker.
All right. Miss Luper, we sure do appreciate this. As she's getting ready now to talk to our pastor, we want everyone to know that he is a loving and kind man, and just like Miss Luper said, he has helped so many blacks. But it's a sad day in Oklahoma when we can use blacks against blacks cutting down one another when we need to be working together. And we asked Mr. Perry if he would join in together and help us do this thing together instead of cutting one another down. We don't need a negative newspaper. We need a newspaper that's going to be positive and tell the truth. That one line up under the Black Chronicle says, the paper that tells the truth. But that was no more than a character assassination of our pastor, and we want him to know that it will not be tolerated, that this community will rise up and respond to this negative news. And we also want you to know that in his line of work, we're sure that negative news sells. But we want to change all that. We want some positive news of what's going on, and the positive news that will build character among our black people. We don't need a cutting down of one another and getting irritated with one another. It seems, if you notice, a lot of times most of the front page news is about ministers, about pastors who've fallen, who've had mistakes. Yes, men will make mistakes, but to be able to use that and to downgrade the black community and the black church, which has done so much to help other people, is a sad day in Oklahoma City. And we're encouraging all the listeners here today to think about that when you buy the paper. Look at the type of articles that are written about your pastor. There may be some of you listening right now, and your pastor was affected by this bad, negative news. We want to bring the style of that news up, that it will edify our pastors in Oklahoma City instead of cutting them down. And we want you to know that it hurts.
Yeah, she got it.
I like to hear that.
We're coming through okay. We're ready. Hello? Hello? Letty? Okay, Letty, would you start over? I'm having a little difficulty, but I have it all straightened out. Okay, Letty, hold 1 minute. We will get it straight out here in just a minute, because not only do I want to hear from you, we've got to hear from you, and I wonder, are we getting it straight? Are we getting it straight out here? And just don't... You can hear me? Okay, I wonder if my radio audience can hear you. That's the part of it that I want to make sure. I want to make sure that the radio audience really hear you. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show. The best is yet to come. Okay, Letty, let's see if we are getting you out in radio land. Okay, Letty, have I lost you? Okay, well, one thing about it, we are working hard out here. We want to make sure that you are able to hear Letty. In the meantime, I have 2 death announcements that I would like to make. Mahalia Darling is at Temple Funeral Home, and her services are pending. Jewel Lottie's funeral will be held today at 11 a.m. at Avery Chapel, AME Church, and we express our sympathy to the family. We are talking about some things that happen in our community, and certainly we want you out in radio land to really know and understand what's happening. Letty? Okay, are we together now?
I hope that we are together.
Oh.
Saying about Reverend Parker, not only he said they built a gym for the people in that community. That gym has gone beyond that community, Mrs. Luper, because my son was a Boy Scout here in Oklahoma City. And all of the Boy Scouts that were here in Oklahoma City went out to that gym and had affairs and activities in the Reverend Parker's gym out there in Spencer. So not only did the people in Spencer enjoy that gym, but the people here in Oklahoma City has done it. He's gone beyond his community. So maybe the Reverend didn't know that, and I wanted to tell him that. And then according to what the Reverend has said about the writing, I just want to refresh his memory. You know, Jesus was a good man, and he was a kind man. And when his trial was over, Paul said, I find no fault to this man. But the negative people said, what? Crucify him, crucify him. And they couldn't realize until after he was dead that he was a great and mighty man. Also, I find written there in the Bible that they said, no man is higher than his thoughts. So we write according to our thoughts, our abilities, and our thinking. So this is what I want to give to the Reverend there in the office with you. That do not forget, only the good people were the people that were destroyed, and Jesus Christ was good. Now, Mrs. Luper, I want to congratulate you on your program today, and I want to encourage people to come out to vote today, because there's the Tinker Credit Union's election day. They will be electing board of directors, And that place is out at Lincoln Plaza, 4445 Lincoln Plaza. So now, Ms. Luper, I know you're going to come out. I know you got a 10 o'clock meeting at the Freedom Center today. But I'm sure when you leave there, you're going to come out to the Lincoln Plaza to vote. Hey, are you ready?
I'm going to say, Letty, I will always vote, but I don't know too much about Tinker Credit Union and the people that are running. Give me some ideas of some candidates that are interested in somebody as black as me, and I'm blacker than a blackberry.
Okay, I'm going to start off with somebody, Ms. Luper, that's just like you and is a female, too. And that is none other than Althea Sewell. Now, you can come out and vote for Althea because she came from a little town, a little small town. She's not a big town girl. Then I want you to vote for John Durham. I want you to vote for Norma Mora, and I want you to vote for Lieutenant Colonel Nugent. Lieutenant Colonel Nugent. And you said black like me and a female? That is Althea Sewell. So tell all of your friends and bring all of your family, Ms. Luper. Look for your family to bring that family to bring the next family, and look for everyone to come out to Lincoln Plaza and vote. Because they have a lot of things out there that you can have. You can have plenty of popcorn and pop to drink, so you can't get thirsty and you can't get hungry. So I'll be looking for you to come out.
All right, thank you.
I want to say congratulations to Reverend Parker. Don't stop now. Keep on going, Reverend Parker. Keep going. Because I do know you have a wonderful program, and I want that wonderful singers that he has to come and be on my program the day that I'm going to have you to talk on my program.
Okay, Letty, I'll tell you the worst mistake that Mr. Perry made when he said that Reverend Parker was a part of that small group in the community that was opposed to the neighborhood school concept. And next week, this program will see where they are, because the black people that I'm talking to want an integrated school system. Nobody wants segregation. We've been the segregation road. We traveled that road from 1909 legally in Oklahoma, from 1907 to 1954 and 1961. Nobody wants to go back to a segregated school system. Now, that case will soon be heard in court, and we will be telling you more about it.
And Mr. Luper, to add to that, I'm sure we do not want to end the segregation, because we wanted segregation when they sent the people to Saudi Arabia. They let us come with the black folks here. They did not leave us here. They carried us with them. So that tells us there that they are talking out of two corners of their mouths. They want segregation and they don't want segregation. And
well, that's Mr. Perry, who's talking about neighborhood school concepts, because Thurgood Marshall, and certainly I believe more in Thurgood Marshall than I do in Perry. Thurgood Marshall said segregation in Oklahoma City school system was wrong, and 9 judges, white men in long black coats in 1954, say segregation had no place in America. Letty, I'm going to have to let you go because I have Reverend Parker
on the line.
Reverend Parker.
And I look for all you all to vote.
Okay, we'll be there. Reverend Parker.
Hello.
This is Clara Luper, and I'm talking about Reverend W.B. Parker from Eagletown, Oklahoma.
Well, thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed. I thought I had something to say, but I'm so humbled by what I've been hearing until it's almost left me breathless. But I do appreciate the confidence that's been expressed in me. And what I would like to say in regards to the article, let's don't be too hard on the one who wrote the article, because I feel that they're suffering from a severe case of insecurity, low self-esteem, and so forth. We've always had those kind of people among us. Many of them call them Uncle Tom. I don't know what we would like to say, and in fact, I don't like name calling.
Oh, Reverend Parker, you are so kind. But anytime somebody jump on you, I'm willing to call them a name.
Yeah, well, you know, like the prophet Nehemiah said, we're building a wall, and we're too busy to come down. And, you know, I think that we don't have time to stoop to the level of character assassination when people assassinate us, because Jesus said, "Blessed are you when men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake." He said, "Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven." And you know, someone has said very aptly, he who would be without criticism, let him be nothing, do nothing, and say nothing. I wonder where were this writer when we were on the streets marching in the interest of breaking down segregation downtown. I didn't see them when we went to jail in favor of the garbage trackers. And I don't see them when we go out to Tinker Field and plead for the privilege of the people that's on the lowest totem pole. I don't see them in engagements like that. But they're like the Uncle Toms of old. They always send people around, or hide around, in order to pick up something to take back to Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie in olden time patted him on the head, give him a little quarter, and said, "Good work, Sambo. Go back and bring me some more." And that's the way they chose to get ahead. But I'd rather be poor with my integrity. I'd rather be poor and follow the Lord Jesus than to have all the riches that the world affords. And in fact, I'm not poor. I'm rich because I have friends of integrity, and I have friends of great stature like Clara, Luper, and Letta Ruth Hunter, and Nancy Davis, and Lawrence Kirk, and just many, many more all over the city and all over the state. I thank God for it. We are doing a great work, and we can't come down. Let's keep on building bridges. Let's keep on treading deep waters. Let's keep on serving the people. That's the only thing that I ask for in this government. This job does not pay me a penny. It gives 24 cents a mile whenever you drive somewhere. But I just simply want an opportunity to serve my people. That's always been my agenda, and it always will be.
Reverend Parker, thank you so very kindly. You don't have to speak for yourself. We have thousands of people that are willing to speak for you. I had people to call me all of the week wanting to come on the radio program and talk about how you have saved their homes, how you have done various things. And I just want to thank you. And you tell your beautiful wife and children that they should be proud to have a father and a husband that's so popular that a man will take a fourth of a page to write against him when it's all untrue. I say that with deep sincerity. Thank you, Reverend Parker.
Thank you, and I humbly accept your compliments.
But one thing about it, if I didn't believe it, I sure wouldn't say it. But this is
know
something that I know. I would have said something else, because some of you, I've had preachers who tell me one thing and do just the opposite. And someday I'm going to do a story which will be true now. It won't be no propaganda on the one that preached one thing and did another one. But you are able to not only preach, but to live. Thank you, Reverend Parker.
Thank you very much.
Those of you that want to participate in the Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant, please call me, 424-3949. This will be the last week that we will take applications for Miss Black Oklahoma. Those of you that want to be involved in the page program, this is your last chance. Those of you that would like to be escorts, this is also your last chance. Well, I would like to tell Olive Wallace something. The census report is back. And next week I will tell you that Hoffman, Oklahoma is in serious trouble. But Clearview, Oklahoma is in worse trouble according to the 1990 census. Now, Olive Wallace likes to sit around and talk about Clearview, but she doesn't like to tell you that when Clearview and Grayson High School is playing basketball, that Grayson always beat Clearview. Now, next week we are going to see who's beaten now in population, Grayson or Clearview. Don't miss the Clara Luper radio show next week, because you will find out for yourself who has the largest number of people there today. It might be that Olive Wallace and some more people from Clearview will have to move back to Clearview in order that the population would increase. Now, I can't move back to Hoffman because I've gotten adjusted to a certain style of living, and I do not want to go back. Maybe Roosevelt Ford will go on back, or maybe Gladys Elliott, I don't know. But it's going to take a lot of talking to get me back down to Hoffman. I would like to buy some more land down there. Today's program has been a very special program because you are very special people. And I would like once again to thank Sierra Perry and her grandmother for a little thing, because what they did, what Sierra did, and Sierra looks to be about 8 or 9 years old, down in Anadarko last night, she walked up and hugged me and said, "Miss Luper, I never miss your radio program. Thank you for not missing my radio program." This is Black History. Was the end of Black History Month. And now we are in March. And during this month, we want to march on. We want to march on, and we want you to march on. And today I would like to close with these words that were written by James Weldon Johnson. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears. Thou who has brought us thus far on the way. Thou who has by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shattered beneath our hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. I hate to say goodbye to you this morning rather, because you've been so kind and you're so sweet. You're giving me my flowers while I live and while I can smell them. And I thank you. Because when I die now, I don't even want you to bring me a bushel of apples into my church. All I want you to do is to be present wherever I am. And I want you to know that I've tried to bring you a true story. A story of a courageous man who has given so much. And I would like to say to the people out in Radio Land, watch everything. Watch those that will destroy the people that have helped you. Don't be a part of an army to destroy. Be a part of an army to build. And to all of you out to St. James Baptist Church, thank God for you. Thank God for speaking up for your pastor. Reverend Vernon Dangerfield has asked me to remind you that they support the United States Armed Forces in the Middle East. Sure, we support them, but when these young men come back, we don't want them to be discriminated against anymore. We want the whole history of black people to change, and it cannot be changed as long as black people are trying to down each other. Let's build each other. Let's be builders and stay out of trouble. And whatever happens to you, don't steal anything from anybody. Don't try to commit any kind of crime. And I would like to thank the young men out to Berry House for the respect that they gave me the other night. And to you young men out there, I want you to know that I love you. And I shall do everything that I can to see to it that no more young men will have to go to Berry House. And those of you that get out, you will stay out of trouble. One of the most heartbreaking words I heard out to Berry House was two young men who said they would rather for me to see them dead than to be in Berry House. Young men, I love you, and I told you that. I made my position clear. Thank you, Connie Bird, for going along with me. And until next Saturday at 9 o'clock, tell your friends that this is the Clara Luper radio show, and I do love you.
You've been listening to the First Lady. I'm talking about Miss Clara Luper. And if you have not heard about the fish dinner that's going on, Miss V's Inspiration Choir is giving fish dinners. I do not know the location, but you can call this number, 424-8821, and they will be glad to give you more information about that dinner.